Picture your working week, 5 days. Before the First World War, the state's spending added up to about half a day of it. Today in France, it's almost 3 of those 5 days. Some of it you pay now, some you'll pay later. But it's all spent in your name. Your week hasn't changed, but the slice the state spends out of it has grown from half a day to most of the week. And this rising line on the chart is that slice, climbing for over a century. This chart has a name economists use: government spending as a share of GDP. It's simple. For every unit of what a country earns, it's the share that goes to the government to spend, instead of staying in people's own hands. Before the First World War, about a tenth. Today in France, more than half. And we argue about the cost of government constantly. The state's too big, too expensive, doing too much or too little. We've been having that fight for as long as the line has been rising. But notice what the fight skips. Everyone argues about where the line is. No one asks how it got there because no one saw it move. There was no vote for let's go from half a day to 3. It rose a little every year, slowly enough that each year felt like no change at all. So we argue about how high it should be. But the question was never the height. It's what we're actually looking at. So here it is. All that growth. What did the government actually start doing that nobody was doing before? Almost none of it. The line looks like government taking on more and more, but most of it isn't new work the government invented. It's old work that already existed, quietly moving from people to the state and turning into a cost only once someone had to be paid for it. A handover. A century ago, far more of life ran on people than on institutions. The old and the sick were looked after by family and neighbors. Children were raised by the whole street. It takes a village. People kept their own block clean, kept their own order, watched out for the house next door. None of it was paid. None of it showed up on any chart. It just happened, between people. Then, one piece at a time, all of it moved. Out of the household and the neighborhood, into the state. Looking after the old, raising and teaching the young, keeping order, cleaning the street. What you once gave and got as a favor, personal, owed to someone, became a right, guaranteed by law, owed to no one. And once those things become rights, they have to be paid for. A favor costs time. A right costs money. That's the whole line. Everything we used to do ourselves, crossing over from the things we did to the things we fund. And the single biggest piece of that line has a name: social protection. In France, it runs to roughly a third of everything the country produces: pensions, health, the old, the sick, the exact things that used to run on unpaid time, inside families and communities. So the role of society didn't shrink. It got rerouted. The work is the same size it always was, maybe even bigger. You still carry your neighbor. You just do it at a distance now through a system. For a stranger you'll never meet. But the state can only pay for what it can count. And it only counts what carries a price: paid work, taxed wages. So for the state to take it over, the work had to become a paid job. The unpaid hour at home had to turn into a taxed hour at work. Think of the grandmother who once minded the grandchild so the parents could work. Across a whole society, that hour doesn't disappear. It turns into a taxed hour at a paid job. Money that funds the service now doing what she used to do. It still takes a village. The village just went to work. The line going up is that change made visible, unpaid time turning into paid, taxed time. The job still gets done, every bit of it. What's lost isn't the help, it's the contact. The bond was never in the task, it was in doing it for each other, face to face. This is the pattern, and it holds for almost anything. When a society starts arguing about the cost of something, schooling, security, care, it has usually already handed the function over. This isn't a verdict, and it isn't a call to go back. The closeness the old way created was never on the books. It came free, just from doing things in person. So when we moved all this onto the state, it never showed up as a cost. It isn't on this chart either. So the debate you've been having about what government costs was never the real one. From the outside, it can look like we simply stopped. That the neighbor, the old man down the street, the friend who fell on hard times, all quietly became someone else's job. Most of your week says otherwise. We didn't stop carrying each other. We just started paying someone else to. But even that isn't the question. Underneath the whole fight, too big, too small, too expensive, there's one nobody asks. Not the left, not the right, not you. What do we still owe each other directly? And what do we hand to the state?
What we hand to the state, we slowly stop doing for each other. This is one case of a bigger pattern. There's a full video on what actually holds a society together and what happens when that bond wears too thin to hold. Watch it now.